Hey guys, before we start the show, I wanted to remind you guys that if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast or you have a podcast and it just needs a little bit of help, we have the solution for you. Today's show is brought to you by Idea to Launch Academy, the only multicultural podcast academy that to date has helped launch over 500 podcasts. Yep, you heard that right. 500. I mean, anyone can launch a podcast, but it takes lots of hard work and a solid foundation to have a profitable and successful podcast that stands out from the rest. You can Google how to start a podcast and publish it. And then, yeah, who's going to listen? I mean, I have been podcasting for well over a year. And while there have been many milestones and success with this podcast that you are tuned into, the greatest part of it all is building the wonderful relationships and partnerships with some of the best guests and fellow podcasters. And most importantly, the listeners. They are the reason why we're here. Carlo Amaris, the CEO and founder of Idea to Launch, has put together a course that will help you take your podcast from idea to launch in just 30 days with her proven 5-phase formula that helped her reach over 100,000 downloads in less than a year without social media presence or any tech background. You learn how to come up and refine your own podcast topics, your artwork, recording, editing, marketing, and so much more. Also, when you are part of the course, you become a part of a community of podcasters. I'm one of them. And we all help and inspire each other. Use the link in our show description to enroll in the Launch Your Podcast in 30 Days 2.0. Let them know that Double Dose of Raw Talk sent you and get the Instagram 101 crash course for free. Enrollment is open. So, what are you waiting for? Do that after you're done listening to the show and enjoy. Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast, your weekly dose of many discussions and opinions, a show where we get comfortable being uncomfortable. And remember, no topic is off limits. Now let's talk about it. All right, guys, we are back, and it is Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your favorite host, Ms. D. And today I have one of my favorite Patreon subscriptions of all time. I kid you not. It's like we're gonna put people on today. We really are gonna put people on today. I'm crying because I have no shame. Anybody who knows this platform knows I take a lot of pride in my comfort with my own sexuality, with my own body. I advocate for people to talk sex and sexuality and the comfort, like everything that encompasses what this is. There's too many people still not comfortable in that, and this is why I said this is by far my favorite Patreon subscription. Don't tell all the other subscriptions I have, but this is the favorite. That's it.
That's what you tell everybody.
That's no. I keep. Oh no, I don't. I love all of them, but this is the favorite. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the one and only Samia, and she is from Sexual Essentials. It feels so refreshing to say that. Sexual Essentials. I love it. All right. So, Samia, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Give the people what they want.
Me too. If you would just do me the honor, and of course my listeners, just give a little bit of background as to what it is that your company entails and what it is that you have to offer.
For sure. So my name is Samia. I'm the owner of Sexual Essentials. And yes, I'm saying sexual essentials because we literally cover all the essentials to make good sex. So what I do is I help people create the sex life that they want, right? And I do that through hands-on classes. And so I do oral sex classes, dick riding classes, squirting classes, masturbation, anal sex, yoni massages, lingam massages, orgasmic breathing. I bring a lot of like topics that people have probably heard of before or either never heard of. And I bring them to the table so people can know what their options are as far as exploring during sex and like navigating what they already know, right? Because plenty of people have been having sex their whole life, but it's not really fulfilling, you know? Um, and so I started this company after I had my child when I realized there were like hundreds and thousands of children that were made, and the woman didn't have an orgasm at all. She got big, she got stretch marks, she lost her boobs, she lost her figure, she got depressed. Her coochie tore, they had to sew it up, and she didn't even have an orgasm like when she came. And I was so lost, and I was just like, I need to do something about it. And so I started creating these classes. And when people think like creating the sex life they want, they think I'm talking about like, oh, how do you hang from the raptors? Like, I'll teach you how to do that too. But what people find is that if they learn how to do what they already know better, they realize they know a lot. They just have never really been encouraged to use it or to ask questions, or they don't know where to start. And everybody's looking at them stupid if they ask questions. I'm not doing that. So yeah, I teach people the basics of how to work their body parts and how to work other people's body parts and get some vaginal orgasms and all of that stuff going on. So
I love it.
that's what
I
I
love
do.
it. Let me just say this. When she says she's hands-on, it is an entire demonstration. And I don't want people to like think it's like, "Oh, are we going to see like her full-on coach?" No, that's not what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Like it's an actual educational session. And what I love about it is, and let me be very transparent, this platform knows me so far for a year and change, and I have been pro masturbation, right?
Mhm.
Like this is how you get to know
Absolutely.
your body, what you love, what you like. If you don't know you, nobody else is going to get you. So you need to know your body. You need to know what satisfies you. I have developed a whole new sense of knowledge and awareness and intimacy with my own pussy thanks to your Patreon,
Well,
because
thank you.
it no, and it is, it's like I masturbate different now. I do, because what my needs were 5 years ago, like
They're
my body
different.
has different needs today. Like it's a completely different chemistry with myself. So imagine, how am I supposed to feel some form or different level of satisfaction with a whole new person who he's supposed to understand? That person's supposed to understand what I like if I don't even really understand what I'm liking these days, or what satisfies me, or what gets me to that orgasm.
Absolutely. I feel like it's like cooking. It's like when somebody gives you a recipe. If you don't know how to cook, you're gonna follow that recipe like exactly. But if you know how to cook, when they give you the recipe, you'll say, you know what, oh, I'm gonna tweak this and tweak that so I can get it the way I want it. You know what I mean? Like that recipe could have been great, but it was the recipe for them. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I'm teaching people, I'm not just teaching them one way to do everything. I'm teaching them the knowledge behind it. So that way, if the one way that I'm showing you how to do this doesn't work, I've taught you the knowledge between how the body works. And so you'll be able to say, you know what, she said something about sometimes your clitoral hood is more sensitive. So I'm going to take that and do what she said instead, versus just holding on so hard to every fucking word I say without trying anything different. Like when I teach the knowledge behind it, you can explore way more than just trying the things that I'm volunteering, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. And so I love that we're going to have this conversation, and we've already dived right in, right? So we're just going to keep diving here. We're
That's
going to
fine.
keep
Just
swimming,
dive in.
swimming. Because I do think this is important, not just for couples, but also for singles. I think
Absolutely.
it's important for us to be conscious that, again, the level of sex life I used to have at 25 years old is different from the one I'm having today at 35. And let me just tell you this: something happens to a woman's body at
I
30.
can't
I don't
wait.
know what the fuck it is, but damn, 5 years in, and it's just like,
That
sweet
pussy is in
Jesus,
its prime,
it's
okay?
it is
It is in
prime,
its
prime,
prime, okay?
prime. And but it's different. It's different. The way I've had to get to know myself is completely different, and I love it. I love the level of intimacy I've been able to have with me, and so I just need to find the right person to come into this world over
I
here,
understand that. I understand.
to share that with, because it's a whole new level of teaching here, and I need the match. That's what I need. All right, so
So,
let's dive right in. Let's keep going. So You have told us a little bit of what your role is as the head of Sexual Essentials, the epitome and representative of the company and what you guys have to offer, right? I mean, it's the epitome here. I love it. Why is this level of work? Let's just serve some fire here for our listeners. Why is this level of work so essential as far as the education piece goes, and who does it apply to?
It definitely applies to everyone. And I think that everybody is expecting me to say women first, but we know about women. So I'm going to lead with the men first and why this is important. And then we'll get back to the women, because usually everybody thinks I just do classes for women, and that's not true. Men, this is important for you too, because you guys don't really have a place in sex to speak up without like everybody condemning you. And it's like, if you judge, like when men judge the type of pussy they're receiving, they're like, oh, you don't like this, like you gay. And it's like, first of all, what the fuck does being gay have to do with anything? Like, there's nothing wrong with being gay. But second of all, the fact that people insult you if you try to criticize the sex, like, or the fact that men don't even feel comfortable criticizing sex because women hold it as like a punishment. Like, well, if you feel that way, then go fuck her then. Like, this is what we do when someone tells us that we aren't satisfied, but then we want them to listen to us. And of course, this has been years of back and forth between men and women. I don't know where it started, the chicken or the egg. I don't know. I don't care. All we can do now, though, is say, you know what? Everybody has a right to say what they don't like during sex. And men go through a lot of stuff too. And nobody really understands how they work either. They don't even know. Like, even when their dick doesn't get hard, everybody's like, oh, you don't like this pussy. And they really could love it, but they get anxiety too. And because life doesn't let men have these type of issues, when it happens in your dick, you're so confused because you've been ignoring it in real life. You probably been had anxiety, but you ain't know until it showed up in your dick. Now you looking to see what's wrong. But also the fact that nobody talks about the fact that sometimes people are cheating in relationships, not because they don't love their partner, but they are so fucking unsatisfied. Like it's so many women that are like, oh, I don't even like having sex. And it's just like, I truly believe that if you are having good sex, now you can be like asexual where you don't want to have, you've had good sex, but you just don't prefer it. That totally understandable. But it's plenty of people that's like, oh, I just kind of gave up on it because it's not all that, like, or because they haven't had an orgasm during sex. Or you'd have the people that's like, I don't know if I've ever had an orgasm. It's like taking a shit. If you had an orgasm, you would know. So it's so many people out here going through this stuff, and everybody has shame. They don't want to talk about it. So I'm like, fuck it, I ain't got no shame. Like, I'll talk about it, because it's so many people that come up to me behind closed doors, publicly, everything. And they're like, you changed my life. Like, I had never had an orgasm. I never had told my husband I had been faking orgasms all this time. And I gave them the words to do that. Think about it. How many people do you know that are faking orgasms? Like half of these people that are in these amazing relationships can't even tell you that they had an orgasm. Like Meg the Stallion, I fucking love her, but she was on Angela Yee's show. And as much as she talks about her pussy and all this good dick and everything else, she said, oh, I don't think I've had a vaginal orgasm. So sex is the hype, but ain't nobody doing it right. I'm tired of the bullshit. Like, everybody all booed up on the internet. Guess what? Y'all not catching no nuts. So I really we need to bridge the gap between what everybody is trying to fantasize and then like the truth, the fucking
Exactly.
truth.
No, exactly. And I love that you're saying that, because this doesn't just, again, singles, relationship, especially couples, because I've definitely seen these type of scenarios, couples that have been together for years. They think that what worked for them 15 years ago is just going to keep working over and over and over again. And that's not the case. There should be no shame in having those conversations. And you also have to be responsible enough to know, maybe I do need something different. Maybe I need to do this also. Maybe it's not about being a problem. It's about, what can I do? What you're able to control. And I feel like I'm with you 1000% when you said it's not that he or she doesn't love you and that's why they cheat. It's sometimes a matter of satisfaction.
Really?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And it's not
no
an
secret on this.
excuse, to cheat.
No, it's not.
It's just,
it's not.
everybody is like, oh, my guy says he loves me, but how can he love me if he cheated? Your body needs a certain type of nut, so much so that if you don't nut, you will come in your sleep. But everybody tries to downplay sex excuse me, everybody tries to downplay sex, but they don't realize what's missing is solutions, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and also men have to be patient with women too. Like after they have a baby, your pussy don't just snap back and be ready to growl
Mm-hmm.
and any of that. Like now, yes, if y'all have really great sex, she might miss it. But
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, whatever was good sex before a baby and responsibilities was lighthearted sex. It was good then. But when you start adding these responsibilities in there, wasting your time fucking and you're not catching a nut is going to seem crazy. See what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
Mm.
even when you fucking her good, now this is another thing, and this is another thing. Sometimes you're fucking her good after she has a baby. So she's letting y'all have sex, but she's being lazy. Still two different things because she still want to have sex, but she being lazy. So that's another
Yeah.
thing. But then you got some women that's just like, I don't want to fuck at all. And there may be a
Yeah.
chance that because your dick was not making her come and now she ain't got the energy to fake it no more now that it's somebody sucking on her titty. Like that,
Absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
the pussy don't snap back, and women don't know how to bring their pussy back to life after having a baby. Like you can really like the dick that you're getting, and your pussy legit is just not cooperating, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that lube makes sex better. Even if you have wet pussy, it makes sex better.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody is just
Mm.
so fucking proud to like be geyser pussy, like, and it's just like, don't nobody even know that, like. What people be just so worried about what other people got to say for somebody that's not paying your bills.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I
No.
don't get it. And I'm just like, why don't we just talk about it? Because if I put some
Yeah.
lube on this pussy, guess what? It ain't gonna feel no different than your super soaker wet pussy over there. And
Yeah.
mine still may feel better. Because guess what? Lube
Right.
gives you a different feeling, like it's a whole different pussy. So when your man say he wants something new, just put a different type of lube on there every night. Be like, I got some new pussy for you. Here, this pussy A, this pussy B. Like the wigs. Instead of wearing wigs, you just got new lube to try on.
Different.
That's really what it is. You want a new bitch? Say less. Let me just
Say
these on.
less. Ooh,
Like, and
I
people
love
don't
it.
understand it. If they just we talk about it more and embrace it, then instead of just talking about what bag we all got, let's talk about which lube we all bought. Like, let's get into
I
it.
agree. Yeah, I agree. I think one of my realest moments was, and this is not to throw no shade on any man who has made me come. Most of y'all have done a wonderful job. Shout out to all of you.
We
I
love
know
you.
some of y'all
We
listen. Okay,
appreciate
we
that.
appreciate you. Yes, we do. But because, and again, it's not because I have her on the show. It's real shit here. Because I've gotten to learn new ways of me getting to that nut, to that orgasm, to come, right? Because I already know what my pussy could do, right? But because I need to, I mean, I do. I
That you
mean,
know how to make that
it's,
pussy talk.
I know what I'm doing, but I also have to be realistic to like, this was kind of sort of getting a little boring on this end. Maybe I need to do something different from my end. What
Mhm.
else do I like? What else is there for me to do, to try? Have I done it all? Am I here just talking shit like as if I have done it all? Or is there more for me to be able to explore? Is there more that my body could want and need, right?
Absolutely.
And I've discovered a whole first of all, I pride myself in a lot of shit. But based on, again, I said it a minute, I will say it again. Based on what I've learned just through your platform, there is a lot I haven't done. There
So
is a lot I
much.
haven't tried and explored. There is so much that I can do to have an orgasm without actual penetration. And I wish people would understand how beautiful the world of sex is. And a lot of people will say, oh, sex is not everything. I am a firm believer that it is. I do think that sex is everything in the sense of this, right? Sex is supposed to be the one time you're supposed to be so naked, so intimate, so vulnerable, so there with that person or people, however, which way you love to enjoy yourselves. That's perfectly fine. If you can't do that, and that's supposed to be everything. If you can't do that,
Then it's not
then
going to
that's
be
a problem.
everything. Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be everything. And
Yeah.
that's a huge problem to me, at least to me. And I know a lot of people who that makes a huge difference too, as far as being able to come, as far as just feeling satisfaction. I am in a space right now, and I want to be able to dive into this with you. I am in a space right now where I am over here, just channeling and manifesting the type of person, the type of partner that I want in my life. And a lot of that does have to do with the intimacy and the chemistry and the sex, right? And I think I'm entitled to that, right? Because I already know
You
myself so
absolutely
much.
are. But I
Yeah.
also think like to your point of just saying like, you deserve a good sex partner. A lot of people are saying they're not having good sex. And then I say, okay, well, are you having good sex without a partner? And the answer is still no. So now my question is, was the sex not good or were you not good? Because if you don't know anything, they're just drawing on a blank sheet of paper. I don't know how to draw at all, but every time I go to painting with a twist, I come out with a fucking masterpiece, okay? Like
Okay.
every time. Why? Because they gave me the outline, they told me what to do. Did they come over there and hold the paintbrush for me? No.
No.
But pussy is like painting with a twist. If you don't know how yours works, how are they supposed to make a
It's true.
masterpiece out of it?
It's true.
And I'm just like, okay, if you're having bad sex by yourself, then honey, what's the common denominator?
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Yeah, I hope y'all listening. I hope y'all taking notes here because some of y'all be listening to all the out of pocket shit I be saying. And this is exactly where half of the shit comes from. This is it. This is the platform. I'm telling
They
y'all,
gonna
like,
hate me.
no,
I want
no.
people to know
I,
like this is not an excuse for men to give bad sex or any of that. It's just saying all of us are accountable to making the sex good. You for your partner
exactly.
and you for yourself.
For you.
And a lot of it is communication. A lot, all
I
of it.
love her. I
All of
love
it is
her.
about
I love her.
communication, honestly.
Take my monthly coins on Patreon as much as you fucking want. I've been saying that turning blue in the face to people. And listen, I'm no expert, right? I've been married, I've been divorced, I've had relationships, breakups, but I can assure you this till this day, knock on wood, I have yet to hear somebody to complain about my ability to learn and to be very open minded and to communicate with them on what I like and what I don't like, and vice versa. Okay. I take a lot of pride in that. This is exactly what I constantly say, it's the communication. Y'all have to be comfortable to talk about the shit. It hurts me. I'm going to be super duper honest right now. It hurts me. I'm a 35-year-old woman. When I listen to people around my age group saying that they are not sexually satisfied and they have a partner, a spouse, they have long lasting relationships, everything is great except the sex. There's been changes. Something's not right. Something is different. Changes that I think we all might go through at some point,
Absolutely.
and they're not knowing how to cope with it, and that could really put a strain on a relationship. It could really put a strain, married or not married, it could just put a strain on your relationship when you do not know how to communicate this. And I'm glad that you're throwing us some advice here too. What would be your advice when it comes to that part, the part of the communication, let's say to a couple that is struggling with this?
My thing is, there's a level of fear that we have, and I have to ask you, like, who are you scared of? Are you scared of yourself? Are you scared to lose your marriage? Are you scared they're going to cheat on you, think something's wrong with you? Like, are you scared they're not going to hear you? Are you in a situation where you can't say that? Like, I want to know the truth because a lot of people just say, I can't say it. And I want to know why. And
Mm-hmm.
is your why because you don't have the knowledge around it? Because there's so much research we can do and information I can give people so they can not only come with a problem, but come with a solution when they bring this up as well. And also, are you ready to take some accountability? Because when you're trying to tell somebody, hey, I've never had an orgasm with you, are you ready to take the accountability for the part that you played in that? And are you ready to apologize? So when you say, hey, I've never came, are you ready to apologize for letting them think that you did? Are you ready to apologize for lying or faking it? Like, because you played a part, because you have no idea what that person would have done if you told them, hey, I didn't come. And also, if you did tell them and you stayed, that was your fucking responsibility. That was a boundary that you let them cross. And you let them get so far into this, whether for whatever reason, acting like you were okay with something that you weren't. And
Right.
so my question is, were you scared of being alone? Were you scared of just you wanted companionship in that moment? Did you think that you could go without it throughout the rest of your life? Because the truth is the only thing that you can tell somebody when you're starting this. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
open up into anything that's this transparent and not be ready to give the truth. So
Absolutely.
if you're telling somebody, like even have like even with a current partner, even if it's not you're not married, if say they make you come all the time and one time they don't, that's the time where you tell them the truth. And not just because it's just once and you didn't come, so you never bring it up. Get in the habit of practicing having that conversation. Hey, that was really great. I didn't really finish. Do you want to use a toy, or are you free later so we can wrap this up? Like you can make it into a jokey thing, whatever you want. But the point is getting to the habit of saying it, because we always find a way to get around saying nothing. Like we find some way to validate saying absolutely nothing. And there is no validation for that. It's about sucking it up and being the big girl that you say you are in front of everybody else, right? You a boss bitch, you independent, da 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 da. And fellas, please understand that someone gaslighting you or manipulating you or flipping the tables on you when you bring up something that you don't like is not okay. And if someone is doing that to you, you need to also bring that up as well. So if you bring up to her, hey, babe, I love you. And I know that, the body is different, but is there something that maybe I can kind of do for you? Because I just feel like our sex isn't really doing it for me. And so I'm just trying to figure out what has changed, or is there some, I know that the energy I get from you is a direct reflection of the energy I give to you.
Mm.
So see, and that comes in taking accountability. You didn't come in like, man, you've been lazy. You're not coming in guns a blazing. You're like, what am I doing to you to like, because we used to be like this, or is it just both of us? Like, damn, do we need a vacation? Do we need a stay-at-home night? Like, I miss us young, wild, and free. Or you know what? We've been adulting too much lately. Like, I really just,
Oh,
like
yes.
bring up those things but to do that, you have to truly believe it's nobody else's fault.
Right,
If you
right.
believe it's someone else's fault, it's gonna come off like it's their fault. And you have to understand that sex is a two-way street. So at some point, you are responsible for the sex that you are getting. Like you're responsible for your own nut,
Yes,
because you're
yes. Oh
responsible who
my
you give the
God.
responsibility to,
Yes. Oh, I love this. I'm
you
gonna
know?
send this episode to a few people, like the direct link. Like, I love you to death, and I think this is what you need to listen to, you and your partner.
Mm,
No, because I feel like because there's still always so, and that was like a perfect segue right there with the toy conversation, right? And it's gonna shine some light on the stigmas that still remain. Again, whether singles, whether relationships, but also me being a woman who is very, 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 very comfortable with bringing toys into the bedroom. And one of the things that I have always shared with my partners is that I am very comfortable with it. I want to know, what are your limits? What are your hard stops? I communicate what are my desires, my wants, my needs, my non-negotiables, what are my limits too, because I have a few. But not all people are receptive still to the thought of bringing in toys into the bedroom. So we're going to dive right into the second part of the show. You know what? I just realized I didn't even announce what the first part is called. It's called As Raw as It Gets. And so that's exactly what our guest just did for y'all. She got real raw with y'all. But double or nothing. Okay, that is our second segment. And this one is definitely going to highlight the sexual stigmas, right? And so, keeping it raw, there are definitely some myths still surrounding the whole concept of toys. And toys is still a conversation that I like to have constantly, because I don't care how it may feel or seem like people are more accepting of it, because let me tell y'all,
yeah.
I've been to some places, some public places, some stores and all, and it seems like a lot of people are very welcoming of toys, and that's great. I love it. But there's still people who are not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an old school mentality. I don't know if it's I can't even say so much just a machismo type of thing. Even in my culture, because there's also some women who are also not receptive to the whole toy concept, right? I want to be able to nip this in the bud. So, for one, I want to start off with giving a quick shout out to, like I said, the Patreon subscription. And Patreon is a platform where, plenty of creatives and educators can go And you guys can sign up, and they have different tiers, and depending on the tier that you choose, for the subscription itself, you are privy to a lot of knowledge and information and access. I mean, I get text messages here, I get videos, I get
It's a lot.
tutorials,
It's a lot.
I get a lot.
It's
It's
a
a lot, but I
lot.
love it. I love it. Honestly, this is by far the most robust subscription I've ever encountered in my life, to be honest. That's it. I need y'all to take notes here. But there are some classes that really stood out to me that I loved, and I want to be able to shout them out before we dive into the entire toy concept, right?
For sure.
So, the first one, first of all, shout out to your playlist.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to the playlist. Okay, I'm one that likes to put playlists together of my own for my different satisfactions. For while I'm working out at the gym, post gym workout, on my walk home, my shower time, my me time. Like I have but your playlist on key all the time. Okay, so are we ready for this?
I'm ready.
And I might be saying it wrong. Okay, lingam massage.
The lingual massage,
The
yes.
lingam massage. Okay. I'm just gonna name them. Okay. I need you guys to just understand. My listeners know this. I am a fan of massages. I love massages. I think it is the best way, at least for me personally, to get into my mind, especially when you want me to orgasm.
Yeah, it really relaxes the whole body. Like it really does, because that blood flow is like really, and
I'm one
breathing.
of those.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of those. The sexual massage by Dash, definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh my sweet Jesus. I loved it. Loved it.
I did
Okay.
too.
Yeah. I know. Listen, my partner is somewhere out there in this planet, and that person will listen to this episode and understand for like the millionth time what I love about massages. Pussy eating 101 and 102. Okay. Okay.
Word.
How do I say this? Again, shout out to all of y'all who have done a great job with me personally, right? But I think that is definitely the go-tos for like the partner that I feel is going to be my forever of what I'm going to show them to look at. And I think the reason why is because, for one, I think even myself, holding myself accountable to the knowledge that I've had, I've always just thought that for me to make myself come, I only had to focus on one area when it comes to my pussy, right? And there's so much more to the entire, or I mean, I'm
Like
going
the
to call
whole
it an
vulva.
organ.
The whole
The whole
vulva.
vulva,
Yeah.
everything. There's so much there.
The yoni massage is the same as the erotic massage by Dash. She was doing a
Yes.
yoni massage. And so not only is the lingam massage on there and lingam, you
Mm-hmm.
guys, is the Sanskrit word for penis. So it's a dick
Yes.
massage. But there's a
Yes.
yoni massage on there too. 3 parts. So like the fellas or, whoever has a lady partner, but more importantly, a lot of the men are like, do you have classes for us? There are a lot of classes on there for you guys. You guys are just
Yes.
looking for classes that says dick classes. Like that's not how it works. It's so much stuff. So like the yoni
Mm-hmm.
massage is a 3-part massage that I teach. And then I had someone perform one on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, it's all right there, but people aren't reading. Like the best sex of their life is being passed up simply from not even reading the title, like because they only read the title of the video, thinking that it couldn't
Mm-hmm.
apply to them. Those are
Mm-hmm.
some of my favorite videos too. The Pussy Eating 101 and 102 definitely puts, I think, it into perspective
Mm-hmm.
for people trying to eat pussy, and not just men, because there's so many women out there trying to
Right.
learn how to eat pussy. And also it
Right.
helps them learn how to describe to someone else how to eat their pussy, because you ever had someone ask you like, how do you like it eaten? And like, what do you say? Like,
That part. Right.
so
Exactly.
we don't know how to describe what we're feeling down there or how to duplicate it with words. We just know how
Mm-hmm.
it feels, but you can't, and so I understand the disconnect. With the erotic massage by Dash, I tell people all the time I support sex work all the time. Like I may not like be having sex with a sex worker per se, but there's so many different things to experience that don't have sex involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I'm a sex worker now by doing a demonstration on
Yes.
somebody. Somebody donated their pussy to science to me, and now I'm a sex worker. Look how that works. Like I was fully clothed. You know, anybody that saw those demos, I was fully clothed. My mouth was to myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was a jokey matter, you know, but I demonstrated on a vulva, and now that considers sex work. So it's like, don't knock it till you try it, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
even if you think you know how to eat pussy the best, why wouldn't you want to just make sure, you know? Or even if you feel like, oh, I don't know, what I do works. Nobody ever said it didn't. Like, nobody's telling you to sign up because you don't know anything. I'm telling you to sign up if you want to keep getting to know shit. Because there's a lot of shit out
Mm.
there that we don't know. Just like religion, you know how like you find out that there's all this other stuff going on everywhere else. It's just like that with sex. People are having sex in different ways than we are here. So like
Yes.
even the yoni massage and the lingam massage, those are things that are done in other places and we don't do it here. So
Right.
learning about the culture of sex is important because you can experience different decades of things that have been lost and found, and you know, like, oh, they were doing this a long time ago. We had no idea. You only know what you know. So keep getting to know shit, you know, like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's funny that you said it's not that you don't know anything for you to have to be able to participate in this. And I put into perspective, right? I'm showing up on a day-to-day job. I'm performing here, right? On a day-to-day basis. I have somebody judging that performance on a day-to-day basis, and
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year, I get a score. And I'm here to show up and show out every single day and give it my best every single day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think about, the technical and literal term of a performance appraisal here,
It's just where we
and the
could do
fact that
better.
this is what it is, right? Like, don't you want to keep learning more? Don't you want to
Mm-hmm.
keep enhancing your skills? Don't you want to keep getting to know what works for you, where your areas of improvement, where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses? It's the same concept. If we were to give that much dedication and commitment to the knowledge and to the active self, and it's not just the nut. Yes, that is a goal, of course. It's always my goal, I can assure you that. But but how do I get there? Is it always listen, I mean, can I just bend over and you could just bang it out? Sure, not a problem. But there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna be going like this.
Here we
Like,
go.
there's gonna be a point. I need something
People
more.
don't know how to
And
accept criticism or give. No, people don't know how to give criticism because they're hoping that they don't get the criticism back. Like they're gonna be like, "Oh no, that was great. I don't have any suggestions." Da 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 da. And then they're expecting the other person to tell them the same because that's what they wanted to hear. And then you're gonna be looking crazy when that other person was like, "I mean, it was okay, but I think we could do better here, here, and here." And the wording is not that you could do better; it's that we could do better. Your only job is to be you all day. But sometimes for an hour, maybe two out of the day, out of the week, you decide to share your body with me. So we have to find a way to intertwine seamlessly. That takes a lifetime, you know, to do that. And so people have to take this pressure off of themselves to be like perfect. And like
mm-hmm.
the first time you have sex with somebody is usually the worst. It usually gets better, you know, because you're
Yes.
getting to know each other better. So why are we acting like we have to be perfect? Why are we embarrassed? Or do we feel like, oh, that's where our worth is? Like for me, I feel like it's so sexy when I can tell a guy, like, oh my gosh, we could definitely work on that next time. Like, dang, I slipped. I usually don't even do it like that, but I was kind of nervous. And us being able to laugh about it and talk about it and him see that I'm like super chill, like I'm cool, like it's all good. Like, let's just work on this together versus me sitting in the car with an attitude like this, like, mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And now he can't fix shit. Like he don't got feelings
Mm-hmm.
either. It's just everybody is full of shit. Like when it comes to dealing with other people, like for real, like you be doing like, and women do it all the time. Women do shit to people, do stuff to people they would not want nobody to do to them, or say
Mm-hmm.
shit to men that you would
Mm-hmm.
not want them to say to you. Like you'd be fucking crying if he was like, "Girl, your pussy was stank." Like you would be fucking crying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it like we goes back to that communication, you know,
Yeah.
part where it's
Yeah.
just like we have to learn how to talk to each other and with
Yeah.
kindness and not purposefully to hurt,
Purposefully.
purposefully
There's purpose to that one. Purposefully.
to
There's
look.
purpose to that
I
one.
suck dick for a living. What do y'all want from me? All right, so I
I
just,
love it. That would be a dream job.
you know, we got to learn to talk and just have more grace, be more kind to yourself, be more kind to others. Like if you like the person you fuck, you should not want to hurt their feelings, but also don't want to lead them astray. It is a perfect balance that we're looking
Oh,
for, you know?
so, Samaya's gonna make me text somebody and just have a conversation because
Look, I
that
just
part's
really
laying a
need to
little
tell you.
feathers. I
I've
just
really
gotta
been
tell
wanting
you
to tell
something.
you.
Like we need to have a conversation. Let's
Don't
do
be
better.
using
Let's
me
do
to
better
open up them
together.
boxes.
I'm gonna do it. Watch. So a couple of my friends are gonna listen to be like, "Really, bitch? You had to say it on the episode? Like, really?
Hey,
Like,
why you
yes,
feeling
I did."
yourself? Why you feeling yourself?
All right. So I love the concept that you just threw out there because you said, if you don't like the person you're fucking, let that sink in, because I think that a lot of people settle once again, especially when it comes to long term relationships, long lasting relationships, married or not. They think, oh, I've been with them this long. Oh, for the kids. Oh, for this and the third. And don't get it twisted. Sometimes I wonder too, like, what could I have done better in my previous relationships,
Yeah.
especially the one where I share a child? You know what I mean? But at the same token, it's like I check off everything. I know everything, ran its course. It had to end the way it did and what have you, right? But I would hate to think that anybody would just settle and compromise their satisfaction and their orgasms just because they are not receptive to that point of fear. Like, are you fearful of being alone? Are you fearful of new things? Are you fearful of moving on? And you're here just settling and not catching an orgasm, or just not being satisfied at all through any sexual session. And I think what's important in that is the reality of, do you like that person that you're fucking? Because just because you married them doesn't mean you're
Hmm.
going to like them forever. Just
Yeah,
because
you
you've been
may
with
not
them for
like
so
them
long doesn't
anymore.
mean, right, you may not like them
And
anymore.
you're
So how
dealing with the
hard is
wrong
that?
thing. You're dealing with the sex in your marriage or the sex in your relationship, but the issue isn't the sex. The issue is that
It's
some other underlying issue that affects sex, which is why it's called Sexual Essentials. And you see all those relationship classes I have on my Patreon, not just for sex. Like half of the videos I feel like are for sex, and the other half are like the other shit that goes on that people don't realize is also going on. They just see sex as one act and then everything else as
mm-hmm,
another. Um, but
mm-hmm,
also some people don't know that it's possible. They've never seen it. Who have you seen
mm-hmm.
that's been living out loud about being sexy without being called a whore? Like what, Amber Rose back in the day? Like the slut walk, but like you didn't see
The
your
slut
grandma
walk.
just like, girl, let me go to the store and get you a vibrator, girl, because you gotta have your own vibrator out here. Like they weren't advertising that. They were advertising getting you a man and making sure you go to school, and the emphasis that they put things on. And even in science, the emphasis is on the man, like catching a nut. Nobody even talks about the fact that a woman, like science didn't even say
At
that
all.
a woman has to nut for a baby to be made. So why does the rest of the world care? You know?
Right.
And it's just like,
Right.
it's not all fear and self-hate. Some of it is just, some people didn't even know that this was possible. They literally
Mm-hmm.
thought, this is the sex that has been handed to me all my life. And I like one
Mm-hmm.
of these guys, so that's great. And so I'm lucky. Like, this is, and I like, and they might like the sex. They might like the
Mm-hmm.
sex, so they don't even know something more amazing is possible. And that's why I tell people, this is not, you'll be surprised what you don't know. So many women who masturbate and have good sex, so many marriages, so many couples follow my Patreon and they're like,
Mm.
we already had a great sex life, but girl, or oh, I'm
Yes.
a major masturbator. I've been masturbating for years, and girl, you taught me some new shit. Like, because stop being a fucking know-it-all. It's not sexy. You don't know what you don't know. I still take classes every single week on sex things from other people because there's still things
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn, I want to get better at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody swears they know every fucking thing.
And so because she takes classes on a weekly basis on everything, I learn from her. Because I don't, no, 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 I don't give a shit if currently I'm single. I got out of a relationship well over a year ago, and yes, I had amazing sex. It was what I consider to be the best sex I've had. And again, no shade to anybody else, because of the communication, because of
It was a
the
good
abilities
partner.
for us to say, right, it was a good partner.
Can't all
Okay,
work
so it
out.
ended.
Yeah, can't all work
Right.
out.
Does that mean I have to start slacking? No. I have to
Stay
be
ready.
on top of me. Exactly. I have to make sure I still keep getting to know my body every single day, like on everything.
I tell people all the
It's
time, like, it is a practice. Like, going, people be like, oh, I'll practice that when I get a man, girl. I ain't got no man right now. Da 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 da. Guess what? I hear men say it all the time. I'm gonna stop cheating when I get in a marriage. And guess what? They get in a marriage and they cheat. Why? Because you've never
they cheat,
practiced not cheating.
not cheating. Oh my
And
gosh.
so when women think they can be like lazy about their own sexuality, and then they're gonna be hot and spicy when they get in a relationship, no, you're gonna be hot and spicy, ready for them to fuck you. But guess what? When they're tired, are you gonna be able to reciprocate? Do you know how to get that
No.
dick up, sit on it, ride it, and give both of y'all a nut, clean it up, and then ask them to make
Mm-hmm.
you a sandwich? Sis, do you really know? Are you just are you just ready to lay there like a little starfish? And oh, I'm so hot. We so sexy doing all that mimosa talk, being a little hot girl just to come home and lay on your goddamn back. Don't get me
No.
started. No, no,
No, no,
no
no, but you're
shade though.
speaking truth.
No
No,
shade
it's
though.
not no shade. This is a whole word. This is essential. It's essential
Mhm.
conversation. We need to put it out there. We do. I listen. A lot of and let me be very transparent. My demographic of the show is an equal amount of men listening as there is women,
What's
and
up?
the
What's
age range
up?
is definitely in the 30s. So this is serious conversation to have because guess what's right around the corner? The 40s. And just because you turn 40 doesn't mean, oh, you die and you don't have sex.
Mhm.
Fuck that.
Keep fucking.
No, you
Keep
should.
fucking.
You should keep. Absolutely. You have to be on top of this. If you're not having sex right now, that doesn't mean you don't need to still please yourself. Doesn't mean you don't need to still get to know yourself. Doesn't mean you don't fuel your brain with the knowledge of certain things. So what you're gonna do is just sit there and just forget about whether your dick works or your pussy works? No, that's not what the fuck you do. Like, come on. Like, come on. We're humans. We're humans, and it's okay to be able to keep ourselves prepared. And again, I hate to do the analogy, but I'm gonna fucking do it. Doesn't an employer question you? Well, why did you take a 2-year break from a job? Like,
What were you
I have you
doing? Were
not
you
worked?
bettering
What were you
yourself? What were
doing?
you doing?
Like,
Yeah.
what you know what I mean? I mean, hello, when you sit there and listen, there was a point in my time I was celibate for 2 years. I was celibate from fucking. That doesn't mean I was not taking care of me, but I was celibate for. I was years ago, years ago,
Mm,
years ago. We ain't never
um,
doing that again. No, that's not gonna
w-
happen.
I,
I'm gonna be
I,
very honest on
I
that.
wish everyone luck that's being celibate. I tell people all the time, a lot of people be celibate until they find something good. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that's celibate because it's like as soon as you find something that's worth it, you just gonna do it. So why don't you just,
I was in misery when I chose to do it.
I'm like, if
I have no shame. I'm gonna
I'm
admit it.
just,
I was a full blown misery. And then I was like, nah, I don't gotta do this to myself. Fuck that. Like I'm at least take care of
I'm
me.
grab my
And
charger.
then
I'm
it
listening.
and then it yeah, and then it worked for me when I did find something that was entertaining enough to go let loose with. So there you go. It worked out. All right. So a whole word right now on how the world is basically absolutely miseducated, and then there's a whole world out there that knows exactly what the fuck they're doing, how to fuck, how to please, how to make each other climax, how to get that orgasm, right? And again, like I said before, we still have so many stigmas surrounding the whole concept of sex toys. And so I was doing a little bit of digging and I found this, I guess you could say it's like an article. It seems to have been from really, really old, right? But I found it intriguing first and foremost. And this is why I said, oh, 40's right around the corner, guys. This was an article, I believe in 2012 on the AARP website. AARP. AARP. Okay. And I was like, nah, I got to bring this shit up. I have to, right? And it's titled Home and Family Sex and Intimacy. And it's about 6 myths about vibrators. Men should know the truth about these handy assistive devices. So, shout out to AARP for doing an article like this in 2012, okay?
Ahead of the
Like
curve.
nipping the fucking stigmas and myths in the ass. Like, fuck all this shit. Vibrators can be fun. There can be a lot that you can do with vibrators. It doesn't mean that it's for literally myth. Vibrators are for lonely losers. Wrong.
Not lonely
No real
losers.
man would ever use a vibrator in partner sex. Wrong. If a woman needs a vibrator to have an orgasm, there's something wrong with her. Wrong. If she needs it to have an orgasm, there's something wrong with her man. Wrong. Like the ARP was like, nah, we're here for all of
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
Like
But
all
see,
of
now
y'all
they
for
grown
pussy.
and they've learned. They've learned and now they like they already onto
Absolutely.
it. But that's the thing, like demon
Absolutely.
dick. like some of the best dick ever is dick that uses
Mm-hmm.
toys too, because they're overstimulating the body like properly, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it's so thorough when a man like
Mm-hmm.
brings, allows, or encourages sex toys in the bedroom, especially a vibrator,
Mm-hmm.
because like getting that vaginal orgasm is so much easier when it's induced by another orgasm at the same time, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't understand like a vaginal orgasm is nothing more than a deeper clitoral orgasm,
Exactly.
but it's deeper.
Agree.
So you need to get that surface clitoral orgasm first, so that way it'll reach deeper, and pull out
Mm-hmm.
that deeper clitoral orgasm. We just call it a vaginal
Yes.
orgasm, but um, a lot of people get tired before that happens. Their mouth gets tired, it cramps up, like, all
Mm-hmm.
these different things that are all okay and normal. So
Mm-hmm.
get some fucking
Mm-hmm.
help.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
and like everybody uses their mouth and their tricks on the foreplay, like the oral sex, but
Yes.
men and women are supposed to be having 18 to 45 minutes of foreplay. If you use all of your mouth during that time, when the body is properly ready to orgasm, you're tired. So you can't even keep going. And then she got blue pussy because you didn't got her hyped up and she
Mm-hmm.
can't even come.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because I actually heard about that. I'm in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my platform knows that. And there's a lot of different things I've seen sometimes come in through the emergency room. Um, there are. There are.
I call it blue pussy. I didn't think that was a real thing. I feel like it's like just like when men get blue balls, where basically
Right.
they are about to have a nut and for some reason they don't. And so their
Mm-hmm.
body got caught in their sex cycles, without completing the sex
Yes.
cycle. It's like
Right.
trying to stop when you're taking a shit. You ever like
There
farted
you
and you
go.
be like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
no, I need to go to the bathroom. But it's too late. Like now you
Yes.
got to waddle to the bathroom or hurry up. You got to stop what you're doing. Like, whoa, that is not what I thought it was. I got to go to the bathroom. Women, if
Right.
you've been
Right.
on your
Right.
period, you already know what I'm talking about. So, your
Yes.
stomach be fucked up for no
Yes.
reason. But but it's
Yes.
the same thing. It's like with women, yeah, we be pissed too. Like if we feel like we about to come and you stop for whatever reason, we're going to be agitated. Like even if you put the dick in because you started one type of orgasm and didn't finish it there. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You didn't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah. No, you
just
make
now
sense.
you're frustrated. So I guess blue pussy or blue balls is a frustration. Now for men, blue balls is real. Like your balls actually hurt. Like you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah. It
massage. Yeah,
hurts.
you gotta massage that shit out.
So I want to actually say this. It definitely, again, it has not happened to me, but I've been in healthcare and I've seen it, and I happen to know a couple of women who, because of either lack of sex or at least lack of satisfaction, lack of being able to climax, the build up to, oh my god, I'm about to come, and then not being able to do it has resulted in painful ass fucking pussy lips, a whole vulva in pain,
Oh my
swollen as shit.
goodness.
Okay. And I believe I had heard once,
Oh
and
my
I will have to look up
gosh.
the term because I'm not a clinician, right? I am in healthcare, but I'm not a clinician. There is a term actually, it's like I've heard of rare stories where like an actual cyst can actually build up if a woman is not able to come, to the point that you said in the beginning. Women can actually orgasm in their sleep, and that is very true.
Hmm.
I've heard of that. I mean, I can't say it's true because I'm not a scientist nor am I a clinical person, but I've heard of
No,
that
it's
and I've
definitely
read
it's a
on
real
that.
thing. There are like 13
Yes,
different
but
types
I've
or,
read it,
all these types.
right? Yeah, I've read it, and it goes hand in hand with the concept that if a woman is not able to come,
Her body
or
will do
she's
it.
not getting this, right, her body will do it, and if that's a problem, then her body can actually like physically be hurt, in pain,
Hmm.
or it will react. It will react.
Oh my
And so I
goodness.
think this is the part where it is important. These aren't just classes to, learn how to ride dick. First of all, my knees are shot. Maybe had I found your classes a lot sooner, my knees would be much better at this point,
Look
but they're
here.
not. So I'm going to have to do better. And that's
I,
it.
I tell people the reason I love my writing class, I had knee surgery. I developed the class
I know.
after
After.
the knee surgery. So when they're like,
Right.
oh, size, I was 230 pounds doing this class. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was huge, sexy, but huge.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's okay too. But it's how people are writing. And they're like, oh, is this for
Mm-hmm.
big girls? The class is for people who want to do the fucking work.
Yes.
That's what who the
Yes.
class is for. Like, I'm not here for your excuses on size. Like, I've interviewed a woman that does pole, and she's like voluptuous. She's beautiful, but she's
I
yeah,
saw.
like she's not a skinny woman at all. And I'm like, she
Mhm.
has all this
Mhm.
strength because she practiced. People don't want to practice
Mhm.
anything. It's skinny girls that don't
Mhm.
know how to ride dick. So size is not the problem. It's just
It's not.
it's for whoever wants to do the work. And a lot of people don't want to do
Right.
the
And
work.
that's yeah, and that's actually, I believe that is what, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have mentioned that, when people constantly ask you the same question on the IG story, you mentioned about you developing that class like when you were heavier and after you did have the surgery. And for me, it's like I know what pains I do feel. I work out, I lift heavy. So I know what pains I have felt with my knees and what workouts I do to strengthen my knees. But even for that, again, I do flex on it. I know I've done my great with my performance appraisals in this area too. But if I know my body's changing, I know I want to make that better for me, for
Yeah.
my comforts, for me to be able to come and still enjoy it and be satisfied and be able to satisfy the other person. So I left the dick writing class conversation for later. I didn't just say that off the bat in the beginning, but she has an amazing dick writing class there. So we're gonna link this Patreon subscription in the show notes because I need people to understand there's value to this. It's value. I see
Absolutely.
value, and I love the space and the platform that's been created to break certain stigmas that your classes say about toys are not just for the women, they are for men too. It is for everyone to come and understand and learn and be open-minded to the toy conversation.
Yes.
I think what makes very unique to your platform too is that I really feel like it is an educational session. I
Absolutely.
really feel that way. I
Absolutely.
really
Everything I
do.
do is educational in some form or fashion, whether it's like picking the brains of someone else, I always have guest teachers on. So it's like you
Mhm.
pay $15 and you get access to all of my library outside of the master classes, of course, those are separate.
Yes,
But
yes.
everything else. So it's like over 130 classes. And it's not all just taught by me. I brought in guest teachers. I have other teachers that are famous for other classes come in and teach their classes and, different different roundtables and debates and different happy hour events where we're talking about stuff, showing people different games they can play, showing people what type of sex toys I would use on a man with a man involved, showing people about different toys they didn't even know existed, fucking machines, riding bitches and riding crops and all this other stuff they didn't even know existed. And some people
I didn't know some of them
a
existed.
lot of a lot of things people don't know. And I
Yeah.
have the bedroom tales on there. I'm about to add a segment about at a book club. And so with the
Oh.
book club, we'll go through a book and read about a couple of chapters together, and then we'll come through and talk about it because a lot of people ask me, what books did you read to learn all this and learn all that and all this other stuff? And so it's like, you guys want to know about it? I'm giving you everything. And it's for 15 fucking dollars. It cost me $15 to wax these eyebrows, okay? And I got to do that twice a
Yeah.
month. This is once a month. So it's like, yeah, I could give it away for free, which basically $15 is almost fucking free. Uh,
Which you also did for a very long time.
for a very long time.
Let's
Yes,
just
I used to
notate
give
that.
this information for free for a very long time.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, like, if you're not willing to invest, but you're ready for me to keep recording and answering these questions on my time, putting myself out there, then you don't really want to know. You're just intrigued by the conversation. Are you
Mhm.
really trying to be
Absolutely.
better? And so it's so many people watching and they may not be ready to do everything they see yet. They're just like, you know what? This
Mhm.
encourages me, but I'm not ready yet. But guess what? You have it whenever you are ready. And and
Yes.
just because you're not doing something does not mean you're ignorant to it. It just means that it may be something you choose not to do. Somebody may be like, "Oh, Samaya, why don't you like anal sex?" And I'll be like, "Who said I don't? I just may not do it." Like, you never know.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to be ignorant to my body. So it's like a lot of times when women are like, or men too, like not masturbating, masturbating is not just for orgasm, it's also to let you know when someone is not doing something right. If you know
Mm.
what your body feels like when it's going right, you would not be having all this bad fucking sex because you would know they don't know what the fuck they doing as soon as they tried to eat your pussy, as soon as she sucked your dick, you would have known. Again, I say,
Mhm.
you hold some responsibility to why you ain't getting no good dick or why you ain't getting no good pussy. Like
Yeah.
you own the cards. Like,
Yeah. And honestly, it's part of it. Like, I sometimes look at some of them are no longer here on this earth, God rest their souls. But I look at some of my elders and I'm like, really, never? Like, never? Have you ever looked at yourself down there? Like, never? And it's like, how? Like, I don't understand. Like, we live in a world now where, thank God, it's a little bit more, normalized, quote unquote. But I definitely come from a background where it's like, oh my God, you seen yourself in there? Yes, I have.
right.
Shit, doctors have seen me down there. Why the fuck wouldn't I?
Exactly.
Like,
And how you gonna know if something wrong?
right. Like, I need to know what she looks like. I gave her a whole damn name. Like,
I never named my pussy. I have to think about
oh,
it.
I gave her a name.
I
Well,
have to
somebody
think
did, and I
about
liked it, so I adopted it. Her name is
it.
Sin. Everybody on this platform knows that. And not Sin as in Cynthia, it's Sin as in the original
I
sin.
knew. I figured which one it was. I figured. I didn't think Cynthia at all. I didn't
She
think
was like, I ain't
Cynthia.
think no Cynthia. She ain't no
I didn't
Cynthia.
think no damn Cynthia. I was like Sino.
It
Okay,
was
got it.
definitely so. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Breaking. So we broken stigmas with the toys, and again, this is the type of conversations we need to have. And again, very resourceful platform. I definitely want to share. And the whole purpose to bringing this conversation on here, right, is because we're always gonna have certain levels of stigmas around just sex in general, right? And so the episode from last week definitely entails certain aspects of sex and how it involves, but where there is discomfort or where, it may happen in certain aspects of life, the workplace or just at home or in privacy, what have you, right? What people kind of look at as like the negative of it, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And so when you do have an opportunity to have great sex, safe sex, communicative sex, you're able to have open-minded sex, it should be embraced, and it should be very much so communicated and talked about and explored. And especially when you have a partner, whoever that is, maybe more than one partner, and it's an agreement that you guys have that you can have that with. Like, please go with it. Please communicate. Please make the best of it. And when I say make the best of it, like, really enjoy yourselves and get to know your body and let your body be free. Because I am one who is very pro sex, pro sexuality. I am one who loves her body and loves her pussy, and Sin and I get along very, very well, and we know each other so well. And I a lot of the time I feel like people look at me and they're like, you are one of a kind when it comes to sex. Yes, and everybody should be this comfortable to talk about it and be open-minded to it. And for every child that I have, every single child is going to understand that there is an educational piece to it, and
Absolutely.
I am the person who can teach them and help them and get the resources for them. Don't listen to nobody else. Your mom can teach you. Your mom can explain things to you. I got answers too. I've learned too. It all comes with it. I've been saying the word come a lot. I'm going to stop.
See
But
you, and that's with a you all. In case you were
I
wondering.
do have I do have one last question for you.
Yes.
What would you say has been the toughest realization for you with this business and in maintaining it as well?
To be honest, it's to really give others grace and recognizing that women have gotten away with so much toxic behavior.
Okay.
It's definitely the communication side, just realizing like how, and I'm not monogamous, but even in this business, just realizing how monogamous relationships I was in the past ended up having a toxic component. And a lot of that is freedom. We get in relationships and we lose our freedom. We start asking for permission to go out. Like, hey, baby, mind if I? It's one thing to take in consideration another. And it's another where you just stop doing things because you give someone else your permission. And I feel like it goes deeper into sex because you ultimately end up giving someone the responsibility of holding your orgasm when you have freedom. Like literally, that's why a lot of men don't want to get settled down. It's because it's like as soon as we start talking, I'm in trouble because I didn't text you as soon as I woke up. Like you mad because I didn't cancel plans with the boys. Like, yeah, I miss you too, but I need to hang out with them. Like, I think that men were raised to be like so unemotional, but they're so emotional and so logical and make so much sense. And women were raised to be so vocal that sometimes we need to be quiet and listen and take things in. And it's like, if men and women could just stop fucking bickering like for a second and just say, you know what? I I don't agree with everything you're saying, even, but just could say, you know what, I agree with that. Or just watch. Like my ex-husband, I commend him all the time for the way that he ended some of our situations. I was like, I really commend that, blah, 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 blah. Like that was super hard to do. I can understand how difficult that was for you doing, how scary that could have been for you. And he was just like, none of my friends have ever heard any of that from a woman that they left, let alone a wife. Like this wasn't just a baby daddy. Like this was my husband at the time. So it's so easy to talk this talk that I'm talking. But when it comes to living it and walking in your own life and just being a better fucking person, people always take the easy way out. And I don't. Like I show up and I show up transparent on my platform. I tell people when I'm trying to date someone new, I let them know, on my Patreon, hey, this is what's going on with me and Bay. This is something I had to learn. This is something we struggle with because I'm not trying to be perfect. And if somebody had told me about their struggles with things before, maybe I wouldn't have went through everything I've went through in my life. And I'm just hoping that people can understand that like privacy does not help everything. Like being secretive, like share your story. It may help somebody to not go through it. It may empower them. And listen to men. Listen to men. They're not crazy. Like they're not. Like some of their delivery is a little, but the world's been telling them to shut up for forever. So what do you expect? And men, please understand that give us time. The woman's body is so much slower than yours. So yeah, she couldn't have sex right after the pregnancy. Guess what? Her body is still healing. There's a fourth trimester. Like everybody needs to just stop taking everything so fucking personal and just for 1 second think you may not fucking know everything. Like, it's just understanding how other people feel has taken me the long way. And just taking a second to acknowledge like my faults and where things go wrong, again, propels me even further. There's so much for all of us to learn. It's right there in front of you, but you're looking for it to be packaged with a bow and packaged politely. Everybody go get a fucking therapist and talk to your partner and read a fucking book. Okay?
Oh,
Like
yes.
seriously, it's so many ways we could do better. It's just so many ways we could do better.
What's crazy is all that word that Samaya just said, and it's incredible how that does, and that is such a realization in the work that you do, and that you do with a purpose that is reflective a lot on couples, on people in relationships, on people having sexual relationships. It applies. It's so applicable to them. And we don't think like, really, is that where we're coming? Yes, it goes that far
It goes
deep.
that
It's
deep. And
that
if you don't think it
it goes
is,
that
then you're
deep.
not really having good sex anyway. Like the actions can feel good, but I'm trying to teach people how to literally be intimate, and
Yes.
and people think like, oh, that's just for relationships. No, I'm intimate with my fuck buddies. And that's why my fuck buddies are good fuck buddies. Because I'm intimate with people. Like you can throw a rock outside and hit a pussy, hit a dick. Okay. But having good sex,
Not a rock.
girl, I throw a rock. Boom. Oops, sorry, lady. Like, you could throw a rock outside and find some good pussy. I'm not trying to be good pussy. I'm trying to be understanding pussy. I'm trying to be communicative pussy. Like, I'm trying to be a different type of pussy. I'm trying to be different. And like I said, you can find good sex anywhere. It's so much more than that. It's like because think about it. If you have sex with somebody today, like for the first time, and it's good, right? Like say it's good for the first time. Very rare. But
This sounds very applicable to me. Continue.
sometimes you fucking somebody on the first time is good. that don't mean you don't never want to do nothing different. That don't mean you don't never want to try nothing different with that person. Just because it's good don't mean that's it. Vanilla ice cream was good, but bitch, what if they had stopped there? The fuck? Like, cookies and cream, my gosh. Like,
My friends Tina and Kim are I'm sure listening to this right now, and they're gonna text me and they're going to say, she just read you for filth based on the conversation we just had
ooh.
about that person you fucked. That's exactly how the conversation is going to go. And that's okay because you're absolutely right.
I'm just saying.
You're absolutely right.
People be settling into good dick and good sex, but then now all you left with is good sex years later because you're not receptive to change, you're not trying to change, and they're not trying to change. I would rather date a person that would rather try anything than just get in with somebody who got good dick and won't try nothing. Because that's one thing, like some guys that like already have good dick, they've never thought they had to try anything else. That's why they thought that sex toys just were for, you know, oh, that's for if you have bad dick, like da 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 da. They've never had to try anything else. I prefer somebody that's open. Because you never know what, you could have good sex, but it may not be good to the next person. You don't know.
Until they stumble over that person, right? And then suddenly that person's the problem. Nah, they're fine.
Right.
No,
everybody's
not
different.
necessarily.
Everybody's different.
No, I have to say and shout out just to my own growth. My self-awareness is on point these days, and I definitely picked up on it as soon as the first time happened. And it was like, oh, it was good. It was all right. It wasn't bad. Yeah, I got there, but something was missing. It was definitely a moment to me that something was missing. And it's not, oh, I'm hung up on the ex. No. I just know what I need. It's no longer about having good pussy. I've heard I have good pussy. Thanks. I have now a different, I'll take that. Thank you. I have now a different interest of what my pussy needs, what my body needs, what I need to get to that level of a climax and an orgasm and a nut with a person during intimacy.
Yeah, and it'd be fulfilling. Like,
exactly.
Sometimes you got to think back and you be like, damn, when the last time I had sex where I couldn't fuck for the last 3 days? Like, you just took it all out of me. You took all the emotion, all the physical, all the intimacy out of me. Like, I'm exhausted. I am mentally, physically, and spiritually exhausted from intertwining with you for the other night. Like, when is the last time that happened? Usually you can fuck again right the next day. Like, oh, okay, we can do this again. I like sex that drains me of everything, but also fills me up with a euphoria for the next 3 days that I don't even need sex again for the next few days. Like, we can again, but really, my mind is still replaying and going over the reels of like, what the fuck did we just do? Like, I'm past wanting good sex. I want fulfilling sex, you know?
Yeah.
I want fulfilling
it's
sex.
been months for sure, but I have to agree with you. So even to the point, and shout out to my past relationships that I've been able to be so fulfilled. I don't need it immediately after. And shout out to the fuck buddy that I did have that was able to do that for me too. No, because I do think it's about the communication, right? And I'm gonna give them shout outs. I don't care. I know they listen.
Hey, shout out to you, cuz appreciate you.
But I'm gonna give them shout outs because if it wasn't for the communication, again, guys, I don't think the level of satisfaction would have been the same if it wasn't for the communication piece.
That's real.
Just to keep it all the way raw.
Yeah.
You know? All right. So we definitely hit on the top of the toughest realization with this work that you do. And of course the miseducation. I want to go ahead and shine light on the third segment of the show, and this is called the overdose. And this is usually when we go on a raw rant on something that may have pissed us off or something that we're just on a good vibe with. At this point that may have, I don't know, made us orgasm, catch a nut, I don't know, what have you. It doesn't have to just be about sex, or what is it? What have you? But would you like to go first and to share anything that you would love to share with me and my listeners?
So it's supposed to be something bad or something good?
Either one. I embrace it all. Feedback is feedback.
Let me think.
Okay.
Well, right before this, I had a conversation about threesomes. And I was talking about what makes me mad with that.
Okay.
It's sometimes like women not wanting you to be your full self with their partner. And I'm like, what did you bring me here for? Why would you bring me into your presence to minimize me? And I really want people, like women, like when they're like, oh, we can have a threesome, but here are the rules. you're just doing what men have done to us for years, trying to put me in a bubble for whatever reason. Especially when, like, just take responsibility and say you don't know how to pick a partner, or take responsibility and say you really didn't want to have a threesome. You're just trying to figure out how to make a threesome fit. Do that. I'd rather you do that. And an overdose for a good one is finding a good intimate massage porn while Bay is like eating you out. And for me, it's the titty part. See, I got a lot of ass. It's a lot back there. So the ass don't really do it for me. It's always nice to look at, beautiful. But it's the titties that do it for me. Like when they be sucking on the nipple and they sucking on it like they tongue kissing, and then Bay mouth match up. It's like I can feel it in my own nipples. And then if it's like it mentally induces a nipple orgasm and a clitoral orgasm getting ahead at the same damn time. Yes. And sometimes I fantasize that it's Bay, like, sucking on the nipples in the porn. Now, my mind goes deep, as y'all can see. So,
she has no shame in the fantasy, too.
I
I'm
don't.
with it.
I don't. I be telling Bay all the time, you want to suck on some titties? Can I watch? Because it's like, when you suck on mine, I can't see that well. I be looking down, I'm like, hold on. I'm too big for that shit to be just looking down like that.
Listen, I got what I believe are double D still. I heard they're more than that.
Girl,
But
I feel like we was little when we first found out we had double D's. Now look at us. I ain't got measured again because I know better. I fucking know.
I haven't got measured again either.
I'm not getting measured again. I'm not getting measured again.
No, I've been in denial. My friend was like, "No, I'm taking you." I was like, "I don't know if I want to go. No, I don't want to. I don't want to face that." But I will say this: you're absolutely right. I've definitely gotten off just seeing, the view that I'm able to see a man sucking on my titties. I've definitely gotten off on that. I absolutely
like
have. There's a certain way to do it. And it's a complete like you have to be making out with the nipple to get
people don't like titties no more. It's like men be like titty, look, and then they stick their dick in. I'm like, y'all used to be going crazy over these things when we was like 14. Like, what happened? Now I finally got some titty for y'all to fucking be hanging on to it. Don't nobody want to fucking hang on to the titties. Like,
you're right. You're right.
Just pick, like, right. Honestly, I love having sex with a man that loves women. You could tell when they just love women and they just like, yo, like they think you fine, and like they look like women's bodies because they are taking time on the body. They want to be with it. Like, they just fuck so different to me.
It's been a while since I've engaged in threesome activities, but I will say this, the times that I have, you definitely are. I'm very particular with the way I choose. I've always been the one to choose who the partner is going to be. But I do agree with you. If you're going to enter it, you need to know how you're entering it and what exactly is it for, because you're just playing games then at that point. It's kind of like you just fetishizing the thought of just being in a threesome or just having it.
And you're hurting other people sometimes, like, because you're demonizing somebody that you invited into your bedroom. I didn't get invited here for you to demean me or say I'm after your man. And if you thought that, then why the fuck would you let me in here?
Exactly.
So there's just some accountability there. Like, everybody be talking about these rules, and I'm like, these rules would apply to somebody that you wouldn't pick. So when I ask you what are the rules for somebody you pick, you bringing up what she can and can't do. Why the fuck would you invite somebody that can't do that? Like, so as a woman, you're advocating that women need foreplay in 18 to 45 minutes, right? And you like, yeah, girl, and you need kissing, you need foreplay on this side. As soon as we talk about bringing a girl in here on a threesome to your shit, then you like, oh no, you can't kiss her. So you don't give a fuck if she catching it. You just a selfish, grimy ass. Don't get me started.
No, but it's true. That's what I'm saying. You have to know what you're walking into. And I've said this a million times to my friends who engage in this activity all the time. You know why they're happy and they do it successfully? Because they know exactly what the fuck they're doing and why they're doing it, because they actually enjoy it.
Ain't nobody leaving nobody for pussy or dick. Girl, there is nobody. Like, it's not possible to steal a person. If they left, they were either already planning to, they didn't want to be there anyway. Yeah, they were already done. And this person was available, because there's so many people that's in relationships with people that are getting no pussy at all. But guess what? They won't leave because they do want to be in that relationship still. It doesn't matter what you throw with them. So trust me, it's not that. Like, if they don't want to be with you, there's nothing that nobody else could do or say. Like, it may be better timing, like, oh, well, I'm leaving anyway, so I'm gonna catch this out the door. But
Yeah.
mm-mm.
No, I agree with you 1000%. I do. I need everybody to just be aware. And I've said this before too. I've been one who has frequent in sex clubs and swingers.
Oh, I like sex
And
clubs.
that's
Pre-COVID.
another right, well,
We
pre-COVID,
gotta
right?
have a
Um
post-COVID talk about sex clubs now, because I'm like, how, Sway?
Nah, I heard there's some places opening over
I
here.
believe it. I just feel like we need to have a meeting about how is this gonna work. Like,
I mean, I've heard a few things. I've
well,
contemplated. I'm not gonna
the
lie.
way that people, I'm definitely contemplating, but I'm like, okay, I got to do it smart. But also, the way that people wasn't getting tested for COVID, like there's still people to this day that were like, oh, I never got tested for COVID. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, do y'all get tested for STDs? Because like you literally are around people. I have no trust. Like the way that people weren't getting tested for COVID, I was like, now I'll
You're
be
gonna have to show
fair.
me all results.
Be fair. Whenever before I started doing anything, when I was just in the house and at the grocery store, no, I hadn't got tested because I hadn't did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you start going out and doing things, now that you know that you could be asymptomatic,
Mm-hmm.
why would you not just go get a test after you go to an event or after you go out of town, or just because that's why the flights are requiring them, like, oh, did you get a test, like, because you could be carrying it. But if y'all didn't believe it then, I know damn well y'all dicks burning, like I know it.
Listen, I'm gonna let this just be my overdose then. Let me just be very clear. Anybody who's trying to fuck or have some type of sexual relationship, primarily a more consistent one, please know you come in with all test results to me, because that's just how we need to have the
Fill it out.
conversation. Once that's clear, and I'm one who definitely gets tested frequently for the COVID because, again, I'm in healthcare. So I just do it just because I think it's the right thing to do. I don't listen. I want to have fun. I want clubs to open again, specifically swingers clubs. I want, I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm single right now, right? And
Mm.
so,
Hot commodity in the sex clubs, a single woman.
I'm right, and I'm just saying, like, I've established recently, this is definitely part of my overdose, because it's so relevant to this conversation. I've established that if it comes to a relationship, I want a certain level of intimacy. I want a certain level of chemistry, specifically sexual too,
Mhm.
as well as with the communication, mental and emotional. And if I'm not going to get that, then for me to just settle with just anybody, I'd rather it be, to your point, I know I'm a hot commodity when it comes to a certain lifestyle. And so for that, I'm just going to go have my fun over there. And I
Exactly.
just need the world that is now opening up again to be very responsible. Everybody get fucking tested so that Miss D can go have a rendezvous at a damn sex club. Because at this point, I'm okay with that too. And the reason why I'm saying I'm okay with it is because from my experience in having been at swingers clubs and in sex clubs, I feel like even there a certain level of intimacy and care
No judgment.
that
There's
these
no
people
judgment. That's
come
what it
in, no
is.
judgments. They
There's no
come in, they're
judgment.
so open minded, they're so open to please, to satisfy. They want to know what you
Mhm.
like they actually get to know you before they take you to take you down. Like
Some
they
people.
it's
Mm.
some people, I've been
Mm.
lucky enough, but so far, but they do. And it's like, for me to have to settle with somebody who's going to half-ass the whole process into a relationship and not really get me there, I'd rather just be able to find that balance with that type of a lifestyle. Now that outside is opening, I just been waiting to outside get back to normal so
I
that we
feel
could get
so.
back to normal on that area too. That's it. That's all I want. I just need y'all to be responsible. Please don't fuck up. Some of y'all not wearing masks. Y'all getting me nervous. I just need y'all to act right. Just
Um,
act right. Just act right. That's all. That's all I need. That's my overdose here.
dropping,
That's my overdose. No, that's
dropping
all right.
shit.
That was my ring. That was my cue.
That was your cue.
That was
It
my
was a
cue.
glass dildo that had fell. I told you I was working before this, not on pussy,
the
but I
fact
just
that the fact that this whole conversation, I did not, what's funny, I was like, I was wondering if I was gonna have her demonstrate something, but you know why I didn't? Because once again, I need you guys to go sign up to this Patreon. Now that's really why I didn't.
it's so much time that's needed. It's so much time.
I didn't want a full demonstration because we're not giving out a whole demonstration here for free, for one. Two, I need you guys to go check out the whole thing. I need you guys to just take a peek. So just take a peek. Just understand.
Ladies, if you're listening to this, make sure you take the masturbation and squirting class. It's a great way to start if you don't know where you're starting.
Yes.
If you feel like you know some stuff, then yeah, dive into the Patreon. Of course, the price points matter too. Like, maybe the master class is not where you're at. Maybe you're not sold. Maybe you don't know who the fuck I am from a can of paint. And that's fine too. But if you put the work into the Patreon and just simply look at the directions, it will work for you. Like it will.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's everything. I fuck with the
Yeah.
Patreon heavy. Even me and my babe watch the
I
videos.
do. I
So,
do.
you know,
I do. Listen, my next partner, he don't know what's coming for him.
take these classes for we see,
Not even. We gotta sit down. It's like you know how they say Netflix and chill.
Yes.
It's gonna be sexual essentials and chill on
Okay.
Patreon.
For real, for real. Like sit down and watch it together.
Let's sit down
Sit
and
down
watch
and
this
watch it
together. I
together.
am so excited. You don't understand. This is part of my excitement in finding someone, or that person finding me. This is it. I am so invested in this, and it is an investment in myself. And I definitely want to take this moment to just thank you for just coming on and having a real raw conversation, because it is more than just sex. But sex is everything. And I think we need to find a way to bridge that gap and for people to really understand what are the sexual essentials of life that we're all supposed to have and we're all supposed to enjoy. And I can't thank you enough for just coming on the show and having that real raw conversation with
No,
me.
thank you. You said it perfectly. Life is more than sex, but sex is everything. And I think that's
Yes.
that's the line. I appreciate you. Congratulations. Keep going. Don't
Yes. Yes.
stop. I'm so glad that you're finding, like your niche in doing this and
Mm-hmm.
having an
Mm-hmm.
outlet despite, your other career. You could be as many things you want to when you grow up. And
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
have to pour into all those sides. But
Yeah.
I'm very excited to
Absolutely.
get back into the world and do more podcasting again, and get out of
Yes.
these Zooms and, get back in the real world. I'm very excited. So I'm glad we were able to, knock this out.
All my guests already know they will come back to the platform someday, because this platform is for raw conversation on no topics ever being off limits, right? And so sex is definitely one of those topics,
It's a
and there's more
thousand
to it.
topics. Yes, a thousand
Absolutely. And so
topics.
as her content and her educational content keeps growing, I know there will be a day, and I'm going to manifest it, that you will be visiting New York City and I will be able to have you
Girl, I'm always
face to
in New
face on a
York.
recording
I'm always in New
in the
York.
studio. We're going to do this. And maybe then we'll do a demonstration. I don't know. But I know it's going to happen. And for me, it is about just continuing the conversations and continuing to keep it all the way raw on more than one topic, because most topics are off limits and people are too afraid to get comfortable being uncomfortable discussing them. And that's what this platform is for. So there.
Absolutely. But thank y'all for having me. Find me on
Thank you.
Instagram.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. If you
Yeah.
could please share with them where exactly they can find you. I know you got a backup page.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Sexual Essentials, at Sexual Essentials, all one word, is my main page. There's a backup
Mm-hmm.
page too, it has an underscore in between, but
Mm-hmm.
the main one is fine for now while Instagram ain't hating, so we'll see.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, I
always
know. And
trying,
we'll
they
be
always
listing
trying to kick my
everything
ass
there.
off.
Yes, and we'll be listing everything there. My platform knows I've definitely shined light on this whole shadow banning conversation. I did
Girl,
mention your company when I did that episode, because I saw that and it pissed me
girl, I've been
off. But
shadow banned
it's
for
it's
like a
real.
month. I can't even go live.
It's happening, guys. So I will be tagging everything in the show notes. So once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And as you guys know, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Miss D, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are live on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Make sure to tell a friend to subscribe, rate, and review. Talk to you later. Bye.